I was the last person to learn the secret. Not my friends. Not my family. Not my coworkers. Me. The woman whose entire life was built around that secret. The woman who deserved to know first. Sometimes I wonder if the truth would have hurt less if I had discovered it sooner. Maybe. Or maybe betrayal always hurts the same, no matter when it arrives. My name is Ava, and for 10 years, I thought I had a marriage people dreamed about. My husband, Ryan, was thoughtful, successful, and charming. He remembered anniversaries. He brought me coffee in the mornings. He knew exactly how to make me smile after a difficult day. At least, that's what everyone saw. And honestly, that's what I saw too. We had built a comfortable life together. A beautiful home. Shared routines. Future plans. Every piece of my world felt secure. When friends joked about relationship problems, I secretly felt grateful. I believed Ryan and I were different. I believed we had something special. But sometimes the strongest trust creates the biggest blind spots. The signs were there. Tiny things I ignored. Late meetings. Weekend work trips. Phone calls that ended when I entered the room. Moments that seemed strange for a second before I convinced myself they meant nothing. Because love teaches you to trust. And trust can make you overlook things that later seem obvious. Looking back, I wasn't blind. I was loyal. There's a difference. But what I didn't know then was that my loyalty was protecting someone who didn't deserve it. The first crack appeared during my cousin's wedding. Ryan and I arrived together. Everything seemed normal. But throughout the evening, I noticed people acting strangely around me. Conversation stopped when I approached. People exchanged uncomfortable glances. Some avoided eye contact altogether. At one point, I caught two women whispering. The moment they saw me, they instantly changed the subject. I remember feeling confused. Embarrassed. Almost like everyone had received information that somehow skipped me. When I mentioned it to Ryan, he laughed. You're imagining things. And because I trusted him, I let it go. But the strange moments kept happening. At family gatherings. Birthday parties. Even casual dinners with friends. The same awkward silence. The same uncomfortable expressions. The same feeling that everyone knew something I didn't. Then one afternoon, while shopping with my best friend Lauren, everything changed. We were sitting in a small cafe when she suddenly became quiet. She stared down at her coffee. Her hands were shaking. And in that moment, my heart sank. Because somehow, before she spoke, I already knew. Whatever she was about to say would change my life forever. And I was right. Lauren looked at me with tears in her eyes. Ava. I'm so sorry. The words instantly filled me with dread. I felt my stomach tighten. My hands became cold. What happened? She hesitated. Then she whispered the sentence that shattered everything. Ryan has been hiding something from you. The world suddenly felt quiet. Like every sound around us had disappeared. Lauren explained that several people had known for months. Some had known for over a year. At first, nobody wanted to tell me because they hoped it wasn't true. Later, they stayed silent because they were afraid of hurting me. But silence has a way of becoming its own betrayal. Eventually, she told me everything. Ryan had been involved with another woman. Not for weeks. Not for months. For almost 2 years. 2 years of lies. 2 years of pretending. 2 years of coming home and looking me in the eyes while hiding an entirely different life. I wanted to scream. I wanted to cry. Instead, I sat completely still. Because when your heart breaks unexpectedly, sometimes it doesn't break loudly. Sometimes it breaks in silence. Lauren showed me messages. Photos. Evidence. Enough proof that there could be no misunderstanding. No explanation. No excuse. The truth was standing directly in front of me. And for the first time, I realized I had been living inside a story that wasn't real. That night, I waited for Ryan. Every minute felt heavier than the last. When he finally walked through the door, I looked directly at him. And for the first time in our marriage, I saw panic in his eyes. He knew. He knew I knew. "Tell me the truth." The room fell silent. Then slowly, he sat down. And confessed. Everything. The relationship. The lies. The promises he'd made to someone else. Every word felt like another piece of my life collapsing. But as strange as it sounds, something unexpected happened. The moment he stopped lying, I stopped doubting myself. For years, my instincts had tried to warn me. For years, I'd ignored them. Now the confusion was gone. The truth hurt. But clarity brought strength. Over the next few weeks, Ryan begged for forgiveness. Calls. Flowers. Letters. Promises. But trust is fragile. And once broken, it doesn't return simply because someone regrets losing it. Slowly, my tears became determination. I met with attorneys. Reviewed finances. Made plans. For the first time in years, my future wasn't centered around him. It was centered around me. And that changed everything. The divorce process revealed even more hidden truths. Financial decisions I never knew about. Promises he'd made. Stories he'd told. The deeper I looked, the more I realized how much of our marriage had been built on deception. But something surprising happened during that difficult season. I became stronger. Every challenge taught me something. Every setback reminded me that I could survive things I once feared. Meanwhile, Ryan struggled with consequences he never expected. The image he'd carefully protected began falling apart. People who once admired him started questioning him. Relationships became strained. Trust disappeared. For the first time, he experienced what it felt like to lose something valuable. But by then, I wasn't focused on him anymore. I was focused on rebuilding. I traveled. I reconnected with old friends. I rediscovered hobbies I'd abandoned years earlier. Slowly, life began feeling beautiful again. Not because the pain disappeared, but because I learned that pain doesn't last forever. Healing eventually finds its way in. About a year later, I ran into Ryan unexpectedly. We exchanged polite words. Nothing more. As I walked away, I realized something important. I wasn't angry. I wasn't waiting for an apology. I wasn't carrying the weight of the past anymore. I was free. And that's when I understood the greatest lesson of my life. Sometimes the worst betrayal becomes the beginning of your strongest chapter. I was the last person to learn the secret. For a long time, that fact haunted me. It made me feel foolish, embarrassed, broken. But eventually, I saw it differently. The secret wasn't a reflection of me. It was a reflection of the people hiding it. And once the truth finally arrived, it gave me something more valuable than the relationship I lost. It gave me myself back. If there's one thing I've learned, it's this. The truth may arrive late. It may arrive painfully. It may arrive after months or years of confusion. But when it finally appears, it gives you a choice. You can remain trapped in the hurt. Or you can build something better from it. I chose the second path. And looking back now, losing the wrong person was exactly what allowed me to find the right version of myself. And that made all the difference.